Hello, this is Gray Hughes. We're doing an update right now on the Hart case. There are two 911 calls that have been released, and I have the full calls. One is a friend of Sarah. Sarah texted a friend saying that she was not feeling well and wasn't going to be able to go out, and maybe she was going to have to go to the hospital or something. And then her friend actually then called 911 at a certain point because she was worried about her. Okay. The second call is a different call than the actual DeKalbs, the neighbors that called in February. This is back in November. This person was so concerned, and you just got to listen to this. It's crazy. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm going to put the actual text of the calls on the screen too. So let's play this. Here we go.
And who are we checking on?
Sarah Hart.
And how are you related to her?
Just a friend.
Tell me the reason that we're checking on her again.
She sent out a text message at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning stating that she was sick, but nobody's been able to get a hold of her or talk to her or seen her since that text message.
Okay.
Or her wife, which is Jen. So we're just concerned.
Okay, so the text message that Sarah sent was at 3 a.m. The same, okay, so you know the day that the DeKalbs reported, then CPS showed up. Jennifer was already home. Then Sarah came rushing home. Then later that night, then it's midnight. Then 3 a.m., Sarah texted this friend to say, hey, I'm not feeling well, whatever. And then at 8 a.m., they're in Newport. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Okay, and did she say, when she said she was sick, did she say what was going on, or?
She just said that she just is unable to come out and wasn't able to go to work and thought she was going to have to go to the doctor. I checked the hospital, so they didn't have any record of her. And I think her phone is now dead.
And what is her phone number? Okay. And just the two of them live there, or?
And they have 6 children.
Yeah, there's some kids that I feel is being highly abused.
Okay, now the second call, I guess this part wasn't left on that last recording. It said, has she been suicidal at all? Not that I'm aware of. That's funny that that lady would ask that question, the operator, but the dispatcher. All right, now let's play this second call. This is in November, so it's actually 3 months prior to this other 911 call. These are just some of the few 911 calls released. So listen.
Highly abused, and I can't.
Okay.
And they have 6 children.
All right, so
yeah, there's some kids that I feel is being highly abused, and I can't wait until Monday in Woodland, Washington.
What's the address?
Okay, I'm going to give you the address of my daughter's house because it's right next door.
Okay.
God, whoever transcribed this was terrible. Okay.
What's going on there?
Well, they have 4 black children, which that part doesn't matter, and they're new here in Texas. But the other night, a little girl jumped out of the second-story window on the roof and then down onto the ground and ran to my daughter, and this is like 2 in the morning, begging them to help her.
When did that happen?
About 3-4 nights ago.
Okay.
And my son-in-law doesn't want to get involved, but the more I sit on it, I just can't live with it. Somebody's got to go there and check on these kids.
And so how old was the little kid that did that ran to your daughter's house?
About 12 years old, 13. And when they came looking for her, she was begging my daughter not to let them know she was there. And then eventually my son-in-law let him know. And then she had all 4 of the kids come back later and to say everything was okay, and they were all standing at attention like they were just scared to death. And I think there's something very serious going on there. And they're here from Texas. The kids might even be kidnapped.
Okay. And so did the girl ever say why she was scared?
No, she was crying, and it was 2 a.m, and my daughter said the biggest problem was she's half awake. She couldn't believe what was going on, and
Okay.
and basically my son-in-law is like most people; they don't want to get involved, and so he's keeping my daughter out of it. But since she's told me about it, I just can't live with it. I'm very concerned for these kids. I just can't let this go any longer. Those kids, I think, is in very serious danger.
Yeah. So you know what's crazy is that guy
And
called.
who are we checking on?
Oh, sorry. Let me
Sarah
stop this
Hart.
from playing again.
And how are you related?
Yeah. So that guy actually called, and they deemed that there wasn't enough evidence to do anything again. So CPS and law enforcement absolutely let these kids down. Okay, I wasn't going to be that harsh on him before, but this is ridiculous. Okay, so this is even another incident, and this guy was absolutely, you could tell how absolutely worried he was about these kids. All right, now listen to that. One of them jumped out of the second-story window onto the roof, and then went into their house. It was exactly the same. You remember how in the DeKalb story, how the girl cuddled up in the corner and tried to hide, and then later on the other kids showed up and all said, "Oh, everything's fine, everything's fine." I mean, it's like clockwork, and actually, absolutely controlled these kids to do what they needed them to say and do to protect themselves from being accused of being abusive to the kids. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay, and wow. His thought about them being kidnapped is totally legitimate in terms of how you might perceive it by looking at how they were treated. And they were African American, and the two parents were white, so maybe they're thinking, "Oh man, he kidnapped them," right? Because they were. I mean, look how scared that girl was. All right, that's just unbelievable, and obviously the neighbor must have said other things to the father, the guy that called, because he did mention he's the kind of guy that doesn't like to get involved. All right, so wow, this is crazy right here. Okay, so that's the update I have on the Hart family, and I hope you guys get some useful information out of it and start really realizing this was a barbarian set of parents right here. Okay, especially Jennifer. Okay, I'm not going to cut Sarah any slack. But I guess if I use the word "but," she seems to have been sort of like an abused wife syndrome, but didn't do a damn thing to protect those kids. Okay, at least nothing we're aware of. All right, so that's all I have for you. And until next time, everybody, be safe out there. Man, this is nuts.